Hello, my name is Pietra Veloso, and you're watching Your Multicultural Community Hour. Today, I'm here with Lucas. They are 16 years old and founder and creative mind behind Lucas Star Clothing. Originally hailing from the vibrant and colorful streets of Brazil, Lucas embarked on a journey to Canada 7 years ago, where they discovered a new world of possibilities and a deep appreciation for the diversity of style. Since then, their passion for fashion design has been an ever-evolving journey, and it's a journey they are thrilled to share with you. Lucas, welcome to the show.
Hello, oi.
To start, could you tell our audience a bit about yourself and your journey from Brazil to Canada?
Yeah, so my name is Lucas, and I came to Canada about 7 years ago now. And when I did come to Canada, I didn't know a single bit of English. Not even a hello, just a hello, and not anything else. But I started learning, and I started learning about how the world works here, and I started loving it more, seeing all the beauty that is here too.
Definitely. I didn't know any English too, and I knew a bit of a hello, but
yeah.
Me too, I didn't know anything. So what inspired you to start Lucas Star Clothing, and how has your multicultural background influenced your designs?
Yeah, so ever since I was little, I loved dressing myself. And not only dressing myself, but using color. I always saw that by using color, my day was just better. Like, I could see that I was happier and, just being myself while wearing color. And in Brazil, at least where I come from, a lot of people like to dress well to go places. Doesn't matter if it's the supermarket or a fancy event, they will always dress good. So I think that always resonated with me and stayed with me, even when I came to Canada, and I wanted to show that. I wanted to show how I loved to dress good, just like other people in Brazil, and yeah.
Especially since Brazil is such a colorful place, right? With all the colors and the parades as well, right?
Yeah.
So your brand is described as a fusion of Brazilian and Canadian influences. Can you give us some examples of how this fusion is reflected in your collections?
Yeah, I think the best example of that is my Estrela Folhas collection. It's these two pair of pants, and one of them, so it's leaves, and one of them has a green sense to it, and it's more vibrant. That one's supposed to represent more of my Brazilian side and how things are more colorful. And then I also have this design where it's red and more darker tones, and that's supposed to represent now my Canadian side.
That's wonderful. You mentioned that fashion is a form of art and self-expression. How do you hope your clothing empowers people and helps them with their own unique designs and stories?
Yeah, so I've always loved to create, right? And by wearing my clothes, well, first of all, I really studied a lot of colors and figuring out what each color could mean and what each color could do to you by wearing them. And I'm hoping that by people wearing each clothing, they will get that boost that I was talking about, that happiness. And another thing that I want is that kind people wear my clothes. That's seeing that already, that's a dream of mine come true. It's so beautiful to have people who also feel the same way about color and about happiness do the same thing by wearing my clothes.
That's wonderful. Yeah. At just 16 and in grade 11, you're already deeply passionate about fashion design. What drives your creativity and keeps you motivated?
Yeah, so I've always loved to create, and fashion was sewing. That's something that I only learned about 3 years ago. And the first time that I learned how to sew, the first time that I took a sewing class was at school with a teacher, but I didn't get anything out of it. She was not the best at teaching, and I didn't think that I learned anything from that, but I still wanted to try. That wasn't the end of it, and I bought my own sewing machine and got it at home. And after that, I went to a sewing class outside of school to see if there's still potential and something that I can grow at. Because something that like I'm also good at is drawing, and that's another way that I like to create. But I felt like sewing and fabrics and like material is something that could be bigger to me that I could show creating in. And after that sewing class outside of school, I got a lot from it. It's like it was super amazing, and it showed me a lot like why I want to create more. And after creating for myself for a long while, I saw that I wanted to create for other people too, and create that happiness that I created for myself. So then that's how I started Lucas Star, and how I want to continue it because it's just something that I found so beautiful.
That's amazing. What about the name? Like what was the inspiration for the name?
Okay, so Lucas Star is something I've actually been calling myself ever since, I don't even know how long. Like ever since I was little, I've been calling myself Lucas Star. Each assignment at school, I would write Lucas and then a little star at the end. And it's something that stuck. Something I think that like the reason where it came from is, if you know the story like The Little Prince. There, like that story really stayed with me, and I really liked every single aspect of it. And like The Little Prince was in space, like it was in space, it was set in space, and that's how I got my like curiosity for more space things and stars and all that stuff.
That's awesome. Can you walk us through your design process? How do you go from an idea to a finished piece?
Yeah, so before even starting the sketches, I actually think about my feelings and how I'm feeling at the moment. Whenever I want to start a collection, I never feel sad. At least I don't want to start a collection feeling sad yet, or at any time right now. So I really look into my feelings, what's going on in my life right now, seeing all the aspects and how I'm feeling this way. And after that, and knowing like what's going on, I can start the drawing and sketches. And the drawing sketches part is really fun because you're just letting out ideas out, and you're not really worried about what's like how you're gonna execute it still. So I think it's great. And after that, I go source my fabric. Fabric is something that I like deeply look into, and something that I really like to look at, because I want something that's comfortable. I want something that's like rich, a material that's really good. And yeah, so I spend a lot of my time looking at that, and then testing out the fabric, seeing how it's gonna hold, etc. And after that testing, I then make the clothes. And yeah, when I make the clothes, I first give it to like someone that's close to me. I let them have it for about 2 weeks, see how it goes. See
like a test trial,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. See how everything fits and how it feels. And then after that, I go into my photo shoots, which is one of my favorite things to do, because so all my photo shoots are taken with friends of mine, and it's just so fun. And yeah.
That's nice. I've seen some of your photo shoots. They're so nice.
Thank you.
What materials and techniques do you prefer? Because you were talking about your fabrics, right?
Yeah.
And how did they contribute to the quality and comfort of your clothing?
For talking about the like designs of the clothing at first, I always look into something that's inclusive. Like for all my pants, I use elastic banded waists, so it can go from like very small to very large in the size range that is just the small, medium, and large, and extra large, which is the ones I do. Something that I used to do a lot is asking for custom sizes. So if someone wanted a custom pair, they would give me their waist size and their pants lengths, and then I would make it custom for them. And that's something that I really like to do, because then it's unique.
That's nice.
And then for the fabric, yeah, I always look for something colorful, something comfortable, something that's, is really strong. And yeah.
Sustainability and ethical practices are core to Lucas Star. How do you ensure your materials are sourced responsibly? And what steps do you take to minimize environmental impact?
Yeah, that's a great question. Currently, I source all my fabric in Winnipeg, and every fabric that I use, every fabric that I cut, I'm going to use it for something. Every single fabric scrap, from large to small, I use. The small ones that are really small that you can't sew anything with, I use it to stuff pillows and make pillows. For the larger ones, I always make either designs on t-shirts or I make bags out of them and so much more. I always look for something to make because I never want it to go to waste.
So nothing goes to waste. Every single piece is used.
Yeah, and then I'm hoping that in the future I am using fabric that is sustainable. Either the material comes from recycling or something that is like decomposable that in the future won't cause harm to the world.
Future aspirations. What are your future goals for Lucas Star Clothing?
A big one that I definitely want to do is create a runway show. That's a big dream of mine. I'm hoping to get into other people's fashion shows as well as creating my own. I think a fashion show brings like a lot together. All the clothing shows that there's a story, it shows where it comes from, and it also gives me the ability to create a one-of-a-kind piece sometimes, which is something that I love. I recently made a dress, a fully corseted dress, which was the tying bow to my collection that I did, and I found that so beautiful because it kind of showed every single aspect of the collection into one piece, and it shows also my sewing ability. Even though I'm only making one piece, it shows a lot of the sewing abilities into it.
Wow. Are there any upcoming projects or collections that you're excited about?
Yeah, so I've made a lot of pants, and I'm hoping to make a lot of tops now, looking into shirts and how I can make different designs on them, maybe even using the same fabric to use sustainability. And yeah, that's something I've also been looking forward to. Continue creating collections. That's something that I don't like. It's super fun. I can't stop it. And also the magazines. I've made 2 magazines now, and it's so fun. I've the graphic design aspect to it. I can always make it super funky and cool. Yeah.
And colorful, just like you like, right?
Yeah.
How do you envision the fashion industry evolving in terms of sustainability and individuality, and where do you see Lucas Star fitting into that future?
I hope that Lucas Star can show other people about sustainability, and as it grows, I'm hoping that I can teach people about that, that all of my clothing can show the story, and by buying them, you should look into what the story is and how each thing was made. Right now, currently, the fashion industry, there's a lot of bad things happening. But in the future, I'm hoping I can help make a change.
That's beautiful. What advice would you give to the other young, aspiring fashion designers who look up to you and your work?
Well, the best thing to say is just do it. When I started, I just did it. I looked into it a lot. That's definitely something you have to do. And once you start, continue it, because there's going to be a lot of bad times. There's going to be a lot of times where you say, oh, I'm not going to continue this. It's too hard. But if you continue it, it's learning. It's experiences. It's perfect. Don't stop, because
it's all a learning experience, right?
Exactly. And all those bad times that you have with your business or whatever you're making, it will help you grow, and you need those bad times to
have the good ones.
To have the good ones, to show what you really want. And yeah.
Definitely. And lastly, you've mentioned that kindness is the best gift. How do you incorporate this philosophy into your brand in everyday life?
I love that question. And so for my day-to-day life, what I really like to do is, as I was talking to you about, I came to Canada without speaking English, and I didn't make any friends, or it was tough, right? Something that I really like to do is when I see either exchange students or immigrants from my school, I always look into seeing a potential friendship there and showing them that I'm there for them if they need. I really like to connect with people that from different countries, and if like they need help, because I'm learning about their lives, and they're learning a lot, like either English or like how to fit in, all that stuff. And that's something about my day-to-day life that I really like to do. For my clothing, I'm hoping that my clothes will make you feel welcomed and will show that, so like you are going to show kindness because you're wearing these great clothes. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So thank you, Lucas, for sharing your inspiring journey and vision with us. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add or any message you want to leave with our audience?
Yeah, check out my Instagram, Lucas Star. I'm always going to be posting on there. And yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you to you guys, our audience, and stay tuned for more episodes.